Hi, my name is Brooklyn Burney, and my project is on the topic of zebra mussels as an invasive species. The outline of my project mainly consists of answering these questions. How did Eurasian zebra mussels get to where they became invasive? In its native land, what are the populations like? As a successful invader, what behavioral, physiological, and/or ecological attributes does it possess? How did it invade, spread from its introduction into a new habitat? What are the impacts that they have made in their new habitat? And what steps, if there are any, are being proposed or put into place to detect, eradicate, or manage its invasion in its new habitat? The zebra mussel and the quagga mussel are very similar, both physically and behaviorally. In this picture on the slide, you can see how similar they look in appearance, and zebra mussels invaded the Great Lakes and were officially discovered in 1988. Zebra mussels are native to Eastern Europe. These mussels live in shallow waters that attach to boats that were traveling from the origin region of these mussels to the Great Lakes in America. Zebra mussels outcompeted many other species that were native to the Great Lakes. They spread fast and took over the region, and they also took over 29 states in America very quickly. These mussels attach to hard surfaces beneath slow-moving or even still water. They are native to Eastern Europe in rocky substrate or areas with vegetation so they can attach to it. In their native region, their habitats are mainly estuaries, still water or surface running waters, and coastal lagoons. In their invaded land, they choose similar waters like lakes, similar estuaries, and rivers. They live in temperatures ranging from negative 20 degrees Celsius to about 40 degrees Celsius. These mussels can filter 1 to 2 liters each in a single day. This results in plankton community shifts, which can lead to a limit of food for other consumers in the food web. Zebra mussels can increase the clarity in the water, which can change the ecosystem's functions. This can affect fish foraging and fish spawning. Significant decreases in plankton populations can happen because of the mussels filter feeding. Freshwater mussels are endangered because of the threat of these zebra mussels invading. They will smother other native mussel shells. Zebra mussels bioaccumulate pollutants, which could possibly poison and affect other animals higher up in the food chain. These mussels live for about 5 years and can produce approximately 5 million eggs. This results in 100,000 eggs reaching adulthood and could possibly reproduce again. There are about 10 trillion quagga and zebra mussels that are located in the Great Lakes today. These mussels came from Eastern Europe, as I said earlier. They came on the underside of the boats that were traveling to the Great Lakes in America. From the Great Lakes, which was their introduction point, these mussels traveled all over the nation by hitching rides on boats. They have had other successful invasions throughout their history as well. This may include Great Britain in 1824, the Czech Republic in 1893, Italy in 1973, and then the Great Lakes in 1988. And they had another big invasion in America in California in around 2007, I believe. There are some ecological impacts from the invasion of zebra mussels. They decrease the density of zooplankton, which are the foundation of the food web. This is because of filter feeding. They also have caused bird mortality of tens of thousands of birds. They bioaccumulate organic pollutants, and when predators like crayfish and other fish consume them, consume like the contaminated mussels, they pass on the pollutants to the predators that eat them, like birds and even fishermen. With the introduction and spread of these mussels, there is also an increase in taxonomic richness. This can benefit some invertebrates, but this will also negatively impact foraging fishes and benthic spawning. Suspension feeders have experienced an increase in competition from the zebra mussels invading. The invasions can increase denitrification rates, which may affect the nitrogen cycling, which is an ecosystem process. There are also some economic impacts caused by the zebra mussel invasions. This includes pollution in intake water pipes, like clogging. It also clogs navigational constructions, ship hulls, and aquaculture cages. This significantly increases the cost for maintenance on water treatment and power plants. The shells on these mussels can cut people because of how sharp they are as well. This forces people to wear footwear along infested beaches. And I actually have a personal story about getting cut by a zebra mussel. Every year, my family and I, well, not this year, of course, but we usually go to Wesley Island and Thousand Islands. And one year when I was about, I would say 13, 14-ish, I was climbing a rock and I cut the top of my foot, and I thought it was on the rock, but I found out later it was actually on a zebra mussel. And because I was in the dirty lake water, and I was only with my dad at the time, he just didn't, he was like, oh, rub some dirt in it, you're fine. But later on when I came home from the trip, I noticed it was all red around, it was not looking so good, and a little red line started to come up my foot just a little bit, and my mom freaked out, of course, brought me to the hospital. I had to be on antibiotics for about 3 weeks to a month, and it was not a fun time. They had to scrape and pretty much take off a little layer of skin where the cut was in order for it to heal a little better. But that's my story about zebra mussels, so I really wanted to do my project on them. But anyway, back to it. These mussels bioaccumulate pollutants, like I said before, and this may poison other animals in the food chain, decreasing other aquatic populations. This could also affect fishermen and decrease the catching of fish for sport and or sale. These invasions create a huge financial impact to continuously manage these mussels. It costs approximately $500 million or more a year to only manage these mussels at industrial complexes, power plants, water systems, and even on just docks and boats. Some ways that are used to manage these mussels are manual removal, which can be pigging or a high pressure wash, thermal removal, which is like a steam injection of hot water, filters or screens, CO2 injection, ultraviolet light, and electrical currents. These are just a few examples of the many management tools used on zebra mussels. Some preventative measures include disinfecting ballast waters, mid-ocean exchange, inspection of boats, and ultimately removal of the mussels. My discussion questions were, what other ways can you think of to help prevent and manage these mussels without harming other aquatic life around them? Because a lot of the removal processes do affect other populations that surround the mussels. This is the last slide, and this is my references that I used for this presentation. And thank you very much.